Hello again, YouTube. This is The Truth, man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel. We getting back to the Dealing with People series. And we talking about these menaces to society. These wannabe thugs, fake NBA young boys, fake the babies, fake 21 savages out here who don't have their own image and they don't have their own persona. They trying to be like rappers who are strategically put in place by people that want to depopulate us blacks. And so now, if you listen to the music, it's been disrespectful for years, but the disrespect in the music now is to a whole nother level, y'all. And yes, I'm still out here working. I'm not in a studio with a fresh sweatshirt and a chain on. I'm out here working like a man. So how do you deal with these menaces? Well, for starters, if they in your family, watch them when they come in your house, because they will steal and they be looking for guns, looking for things to pawn, looking for money. So I don't care if it's your nephew, I don't care if it's your cousin, I don't care who it is. Keep them out of your bedroom. You know they living like that. Keep them out of your bedroom, even if they cool with your kids. Get a lock on your door for when you go and your kids act too soft to check their cousins and their friends, they won't be able to get in your room. Because what these guys is doing is they stealing guns and all type of stuff. Like some of the cases that I was seeing was people who were basically stealing from people they know. And the dangerous part about it is, like, they was letting these guys go like quick. So it wasn't really no consequence. They would just basically let these kids hang themselves. They would keep letting them out until they don't have no other choice to lock them up. And that's another thing. You need to be on your lawmakers, man, because people be dying when they be letting these guys out. These guys most of them don't want to change. Like, they think that what they doing in the streets is a way of life, and that's why a lot of people die on these streets. You know, because think about it. Even the animals that spend too much time in the street, what happened to them? We see them with their guts all out. Done got hit by a car. Raccoons, possums, squirrels, even sometimes coyotes, deer. You spend too much time out in these streets and you end up like them animals sometimes. So the first thing I say, like I said, if you related to these, watch them in your house, because they are, I'm telling you, if they know you got guns and stuff like that, they'll literally try to use your kids to get up in your house. And then next thing you know, you come home from work, somebody done stole your guns or your jewelry or your money. Is this what they do? You know, anything they can sell, they're going to try to take it. They even sell stolen cars. Like, they'll steal somebody's car, and when they tired of riding in it, they'll sell it to somebody else, and they'll start riding in it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is you want to practice avoidance. You want to avoid these guys as much as you can. Like, if you know where they be, don't go there, especially at night. Because these dudes are so impulsive. They don't care. A lot of them don't care about their life, so you know they don't care about yours. You shoot them, they take your gun, now you downtown and stuff. Some of y'all only got one gun. If you end up using it, the goal is not to have to use it. The goal is for it to be there in case you have to use it, but to conduct yourself and live your life not to have to use it. So that's the next thing. Avoidance. Like I told y'all the other day, like, it's certain gas stations that I wouldn't go to right now These guys are like roaches in a dirty house at gas stations. They just be in groves and groves. So if you start running out of gas at night, just make sure either you get your gas already where you don't have to worry about running out of gas. Get all the stuff that you will get from these gas stations from the suburban gas station. And sometimes they be in the suburbs too. But when you start seeing a lot of them, just start going further and further out. Further and further out. Further and further out. And then that way, they come out there with their guns in the car. And they come out there, they're going to go to jail. Because most of them is probably felons anyway. And they'll have their guns in the car and the police going to pull them over and confiscate the guns. So on and so forth. So what they do is they'll try to, some of them will try to avoid the hood and they'll start being out here. They do anything, report them. This ain't no Black Power convention. Anybody, white, black, whatever, when they start doing stuff that put you in danger, put your kids in danger, put your property in danger, report them. You say, well, I ain't no snitch. Okay, then die out here then. They get your stuff stolen, have to pay $500,000 deductibles then, since you want to adhere to some street rules. And none of these guys own any of these streets. If they did, they wouldn't be letting these Indians come in here and get rich. They would make them pay rent like they used to back in the day. They would make all these people coming over here paying rent, but they not doing it. That's how you know they like actors, man. Like some dudes literally, I've seen it. White people come around, they ignore them. They looking some black dude in his eyes. Like they are programmed by racists. That drill music, that rap, all that stuff, racists be owning them coming. All you got to do, look at Adam No Jumper. Everything about his show, urban, hip hop, black people. But then he get married and he ain't had nobody black there. I told y'all he's the male version of Pearly. Look at this Adam, what's his name? Adam Wasnick, whatever. From Valuetainment. He's another one. Always trying to talk to black people. But when the question came up about slavery, he went to the next topic. And y'all falling for this stuff. Y'all calling other black people your ops. You trying to kill black people and you black. And y'all both is looked at as some chimps and some baboons by the racist people in the world. But y'all taking each other out. Y'all doing them a favor. Y'all making it easier for them. But the next thing in dealing with these menaces is try not to argue with them, but don't show fear. If they staring at you too tough, look at them back. And maybe speak or something. Try to curve it. Hey, how y'all brothers doing? But don't look away like you scared because they might go in your pockets or something. Just let them know you ain't scared. Look at them. And if they trying to outduel you in a stare off, just be like, hey, how y'all doing, man? And keep going. Keep going. Like, I was in the store. I told y'all about this. And it was this older guy. Like, them young dudes, like, they was just bullying him. Like, he kept looking back. And I know why he was looking back, because they was like in these funny positions in the store. Like they had like every angle of the store. So he kept looking at the dude and the dude was like, you good? You good? I'll smack the S out of the dude. I went right to the car because I knew I had my pistol on me, but it wasn't cocked back. I didn't want to cock it back in front of them. So I went to the car and cocked it back in case they was going to try to start up with me next. So that's the next thing. If you got to handle business, handle business. But do not be scared of these guys. Try not to get in no conflicts with them. You know, and the best way is to just not go where they at. You know, just don't go where they at. You say, but I like Dave and Buster's. They be in there mobbed up. You right where they at. Go to a Dave and Buster's way out where no black people live. I'd rather deal with racist white people who ain't gonna do nothing to me, they just don't like me, than get caught in a crossfire. If I had the choice between the two. That's just me. I don't know what you might choose, but that's what I choose. So, but getting back to that, so I cocked it back. I came back in the store, and hey, I was minding my own business. I just was ready because it was like 4 or 5 of them. And, you know, what I do is when I get that trouble vibe from somebody, or when I'm somewhere sketchy, like I look at where everybody is positioned in case I have to like pull a Black Wick. I call myself Black Wick if I had to be like John Wick. I'm looking at everybody where they position in case they all got guns. Like they taught us in corrections, have a pre-planned response. So when I know it's trouble around, I be looking out the corner of my eye. I don't like I don't like to turn my back. That's why he was doing that to them. People don't like turning their back to these dudes. They too impulsive. So one day, like a while back when I first came back to Milwaukee, I had a gun in my pocket and it was kind of hanging out, and I had noticed the dude was slow to leave out the store. He was looking at me, and so I looked up and I saw where he was looking. He was looking at my pocket like he was gonna try to snatch it. So I tucked it back in my pocket. Which brings me to my next thing. Again, handle business. But you should be in shape. You shouldn't be sitting around drinking and eating ham hocks and neck bones all day. You need to be eating some healthy stuff, fruits and salads, doing some push-ups, playing with the dumbbells, like do punches with the dumbbells. Like get you a ball, keep squeezing it, and give you that punch power, which basically, I got crumbs all over. The punch power, like your forearms, like when you do this, like when you do exercises like that and the other way, that's gonna give you that punch power. And you should always be working on your shoulders and your forearms. So if you hit somebody, you can create a lot of dysfunction, as we call it in corrections. Because that's the goal, to create enough dysfunction to either finish them off with the KO or to get up out of there. You know, but if you all weak and shaky and you ain't taking care of yourself, you ain't worked out in 20 years, you know what you should be doing? You should be laying down, bringing your knees up to your chest. That's how we keep our knees from getting stiff. Like my knees got a little stiffer because I wasn't doing that stuff for a while. Then I started going to the gym, and boy, I was getting loosened up and in shape, but I got to get back to it. I still do stuff because I know what environment I live in, and I'm going to be ready. And you should be throwing punches until you get tired, just to see how long it takes you to get tired. Now, if you're having heart issues and stuff like that, you got to take it super slow. Take you some low dose. I ain't trying to get into the doctor stuff, but what I'm saying, they saying too, to make sure your blood is flowing. You know, because you never know. Especially if you live in this Midwest or you live in certain parts of the South. Like Texas can get sketchy in certain parts, but even though it's a nice place, it can get sketchy in certain parts. I know because I lived there almost 3 years. Like Fort Worth, those guys be smooth mostly, but every now and then you don't take them for granted. Them dudes are there's some rough dudes down there in Texas. You know, a lot of them though, they just want to, they don't be like as impulsive and on garbage as in this Midwest. They do stuff too, but not as much. So you want to stay in shape, at least enough to fend off an attacker. Like even if you, like for instance, a club. If I hit you with this, you gonna die. This is a weapon in itself. If somebody get hit with this, they gonna die. You know, so always think, okay, if I can't get to my gun, I get to this club, I'm gonna whack you upside your head with this club and blood is gonna be squirting everywhere. Do I want it again? Do you want to do this? No. But if you have to, your life is more important than the person that's trying to take it. So, another thing, when you going where they at, like if you go to bars and stuff, don't go to no bars where you gonna have guns in the car. That's how they getting a lot of their guns, is they stealing them out of cars. Y'all, and what, you that thirsty, man? You that thirsty, man? Where you gotta go where the women is, but you gotta have that gun and the kids just come in there and take it while you in the bar trying to play Mac Daddy. Don't go nowhere where you gotta have a gun in the car. If you go somewhere with a gun, make sure you can have it on you, and make sure you have a concealed carry license, because these police, when they pull you over, that's the first thing they ask you. Now, do you have any weapons on there? Oh, you do? Do you have a license to carry that? Looking for stuff. Thirsty. But you want the police to be thirsty, though. Just not. The only thing that annoys me with some of them is when they be thirsty for, like, they always pulling people over for stuff like a tag or a brake lighter. I mean, no. It's too much going on for that. They shouldn't even be allowed to pull people over for anything with their lights, with all this crime out here. Do you wasting? Think about it. Somebody could be getting robbed right up the street. He pulling somebody over for a busted tail light or something. And somebody getting robbed right up the street. They should have to pick and choose more so. Like if somebody's speeding or driving reckless, yeah, pull them over, but don't pull over somebody to me, that's a subtle way of profiling. That's just me though. That's just how I think. But don't leave guns in the car. Unless you in the suburbs with rich folks, well-to-do people who paying, like I be in the store and I notice they be paying $300 for their food. Black people be on food stamps. They'll come in the store and drop $300 on some food. We got to do better, man. We got to do better. And notice I said we. Because I should be rich by now. I've been working since I was 16. We got to do better. So, again, going back to something else I said, don't be out here arguing with these guys if you don't have to. Like when I was in corrections, I ain't gonna lie, I used to argue with them and I used to enjoy telling them dudes about themselves. Because some of them, they respect that. Every now and then you'll get that one that just take everything you do the wrong way. Everything I did and said in there was to help them. It was never no vendettas or nothing like that. I never did anything out of trying to get revenge. Other than, every now and then I have a write-up. There was more of a revenge write-up, but I never did anything physical to get revenge on those guys. Because everything I said and everything I did was to help them. Like one of the things I was trying to show them is there ain't nothing sweet about jail. And I was trying to show them how more guys they gonna deal with at the prisons. Gonna treat them. They're not gonna treat you like you know, little boy. If they got to treat you like you're a little boy, all they going to do, put you in isolation, call a CERT team, they going to put you in isolation. Bye-bye, you're done. So those are some of the things and methods to use when you're dealing with them. You at a red light, you in a sketchy area, make sure your door is locked. And if they pull out a gun and come up to your window, you should know how to maneuver a car. Man, whack them with that car. If they got a gun out, they probably gonna try to shoot you. Man, turn that wheel and turn that wheel right back at them. Forget them. I mean, just like if somebody was trying to shoot at me, I know how to. I'm like a race car driver. I know how to drive my tail off. It took me a long time. I ain't started driving until I was in my 20s. But now I'm one of the best drivers in the world. Like, I could do tricks in the car, like literally. I just don't be doing it. I don't be doing it. But I can do tricks in the car. Like, if somebody had a gun in front of me, I can reverse, go full speed, donut around, and maybe come back at them. Whatever I feel like doing. But you can't help these menaces. You always have to look, the next thing, you always have to look for yourself to help yourself first. Don't put yourself in no vulnerable situation with these kids. You know he a thief. He shouldn't be walking around your house. Point blank. He shouldn't be walking around your house. You can't help them. They have to choose to be helped. And most of them are not going to choose it. So you pray for them. You help them if they ever allow you to help them. Like when I was in correction, sometimes you had to bend the rules just a little bit to help those guys. Because those guys be having messed up family situations. There's a lot of stuff. You can look at the grandparents, you can look at the parents, you can look at the aunties and uncles. You know, y'all supposed to be family. So this one kid, I told y'all about him before. He was living with his auntie. His auntie didn't want him there no more. But he got took from his mother because his mother was like had drug dependencies. So he was mad about that. He had a chip on his shoulder. He couldn't call his mother. His auntie didn't want to talk to him. So one day I said, forget it. I'm going to let him call his mother. I looked around like this. I gave him the phone. Here, man. Because we had iPhones. I think it was iPhone, some type of phone with the pandemic time, like where we wasn't using the regular phones. We was cleaning off like an iPhone. And when they be isolated, because I was on the reception pods where they isolated for 3 days. They kept putting me on a different reception pods. So I was giving them the phone in their room to use. Then I would get it back and sanitize and stuff like that. But I gave him the phone. And I said, man, go ahead and call your mother, man. I let him call his mother. His mother was so glad to hear him. You know, she was trying to, change up. She was trying to do better. So he was telling her stuff that I was telling him. And when I found out he was telling her stuff I was telling him, I started telling him stuff so that he would tell her. And she started getting better. And he was happy after that. I saw him at the state fair. He was all smile. I don't know if she relapsed back, but he got in trouble again later on. But he also was upset because his big brother was practically taking care of him. And his brother got killed. That's another thing. It'd be a lot of, they be in there finding out they family members dying and stuff like that. It just, you gotta have a stomach to work in them jails, I'm gonna tell you. But anyway, let me get out of here. There's more money to be made out here. More money to be made out here, you know. This is The Truth, man. The channel is the No Matrix, No Simping, All Subjects channel.